Thank you for tuning in to Tech Trends, the program that takes you on a ride in 25 minutes to seek out innovation and creativity that are unique to Africa. On our lineup this week, it's all about celebrating women in technology. Women-led business owners in the nano, micro, small and medium enterprise ecosystem engage in valuable discussions around adopting new strategies and leveraging tech for improved performance. And then, I'll be talking to Confidence Stavely, founder of CyberSafe Foundation and winner of the 2023 Cybersecurity Woman of the World Award, on how she thinks the landscape for females in tech has changed. Welcome to the program. I'm Olayemi Otunuga. When you enter tech, you realize that there are more men than women. You can't deny that, but I don't think you can make that an obstacle. You can't get deterred as a female founder knowing that's the landscape. You need to ignore the naysayers and surround yourself with investors who believe in you, believe in your idea, believe in the market you're going after, and believe in your ability to execute, most importantly. Women-led business owners within the nano, micro, small and medium enterprise ecosystem have come together to facilitate discussions on the adoption of innovative strategies and tech solutions aimed at repositioning small businesses for prosperity. Part of the focus of the gathering is to harness technology to drive growth and sustainability in the small business sector, thereby fostering collaboration and knowledge exchange. It's a room filled with vibrant energy as women entrepreneurs gather for the Emerging Women Entrepreneurs Time Out.
I don't want to put you on the spot, anyway.
It's not just any meeting, it's an auspicious gathering for women-led business owners in the nano, micro, small and medium enterprise ecosystem. These discussions aren't merely theoretical. They're about real-world impact, and the focus is using technology to reposition small businesses for improved performance.
I'm minded to...
From leveraging e-commerce platforms to tapping into new markets or navigating economic headwinds, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving in the digital age.
If you have services business and you are not on X and LinkedIn, you are playing. Those two platforms are where your customers are. It's mostly professional. And if you have something that professionals use, you just have to be on these two platforms. Why are you not making use of that free platform and be visible? Nobody wants to invest in a business that is not known in the 21st century. That is why we're lacking my fellow women. And it hurts. I'll mark business plans, I'll mark business pitches, and the men are picking it. Because they are not prepared. You can use AI, she's talked about. That's a great tool. And AI converts three things for you: content, pictures, and even videos. And text messages. So the cost of marketing is drastically reduced and they remain relevant.
These seasoned entrepreneurs share practical strategies for boosting sales and improving bottom lines.
For you to be able to translate your business to a global platform, you need to be able to create relationships. What is your manner of approach as you go about during the day? You know, there's some people that actually are ashamed to promote their businesses, but for a starter, especially with the kind of business that you're into, you need to be a part of your community. Start within your environment first, and then gradually build up.
You must invest in your people. You must identify the right people in terms of recruitment first. Who are the people you are hiring? None of that stuff where somebody sends somebody to you and says, this is the person you should take, or because I have no choice because this is my husband's brother's uncle's cousin. No. They must be qualified to a very reasonable extent. You must spend time to train them, Train them by yourself, train them by also sending them for training opportunities. The same thing sometimes that you are being exposed to, sometimes they have to be right there with you also learning. And so that's when you can look away.
As these women of like minds come together, it's not all business. It's also a chance to plead for support.
So what we're looking for, sir, we're asking, how can the government support us? Support us to help us with the regulation of all these agencies, to help us out. Can we have a better process in such a way that when we go to these agencies to get ourselves certified, we're not saying we know it all. We're saying that how do you help us out to make this process smoother?
Access to funding is a major challenge entrepreneurs face on their journey to success, especially in these uncertain times. But the government says it is taking matters relating to women seriously.
One of the things that we did is we set up a dedicated desk for women. So it means that all women issues, we're not sleeping about it, we'll take it head on and treat it in the 48 hours. We have funding for women. You can get from 250,000 to 2.5 million. And you can use this money for working capital, to get workspaces, and for work equipment. This money will start to be disbursed in that's Q2 for next month. So what we're doing right now is we're collecting all the applications. The other one is special funds for women and youth, that is 15%. Is this a solution to access to finance?
There are a number of opportunities within the financial sector that we're trying to explore as a government. Countries around our nation are already hovering on single digits. They're already going to go and collect loans from banks at 5%. And they are collecting those loans, turning them into something, turning those loans around in 10 years. So, like somebody said, there's access to funding. One of the early speakers said it. There's access to funding, but at what rate? Is it sustainable? Is it not going to choke you as a business owner? The truth is that no business can actually survive on a 29% interest rate. There are very few businesses that can.
For the SSA to the President on Entrepreneurship in Innovation and Digital Economy, bringing these women together is an opportunity for them to share expertise and support each other.
We know that with technology, we can optimize their business operations, and they can also reduce the cost of operating their businesses and improve their bottom lines. And so Mr. President is very keen on growing the economy, and particularly the digital economy, and knowing fully well that the MSMEs contribute to over 50% of our GDP. So they are critical stakeholders, and so we are providing the enablers for them that will propel next level productivity.
In a world where the only constant is change, these women entrepreneurs driving innovation and empowerment are poised to embark on a new chapter of growth and success. How to stop Instagram from tracking your internet activity. Meta has introduced a new privacy feature called Activity of Meta Technologies. This feature gives users more control over how their data and online activities are tracked and shared on Meta's platforms like Facebook and Instagram. Previously, Meta was criticized for tracking users' online behavior and selling that data for targeted advertising. For example, if you search for something like bags, you might suddenly see ads for bags everywhere you go online. With Activity of Meta Technologies, users can now manage the data that apps and websites share with Facebook and Instagram. This includes information about your interactions with businesses and organizations. Using this feature, one can easily see which businesses are sharing their data with Meta, disconnect specific ones, or clear all the data altogether. This gives users more control over their privacy and helps them limit the tracking of their internet activity. Here's how to stop Instagram from tracking your internet activity and manage your past activity. Open the Instagram app and tap on your profile picture in the bottom right corner. Tap on the 3 horizontal lines in the top right corner and select Account Center. Tap on Your Information and Permissions, then Your Activity of Meta Technologies. On this page, you can see your recent activity, disconnect specific app activity, clear old data, and manage future activity to prevent businesses from sharing data. Disconnecting future activity can prevent Instagram from tracking your activity on other apps and websites. If you choose Manage Future Activity and disconnect future activity, it will also get rid of your past activity. Even though the above settings will help you manage your data on Facebook and Instagram, Meta could still gather information about you from other places like third-party advertisers. To add an extra layer of privacy, you can use private browsing mode or a VPN when you're online. This helps shield your browsing activity from being tracked by external sources, giving you more control over your privacy. And that's our tech tip for the week.
Did you know the world's first computer mouse was wooden and not plastic? The first computer mouse was invented by Douglas Engelbart in 1963. It was a groundbreaking device that revolutionized how we interact with computers. Engelbart, a researcher at Stanford University, patented the mouse in 1970. Originally, it wasn't called a mouse, but rather the XY position indicator for display systems. Phew, that's a mouthful. However, Engelbart thought it resembled a rodent, and so the name mouse stuck. Made of wood and featuring just one button, Engelbart designed the mouse to work with a graphical user interface, GUI. It was publicly demonstrated for the first time in 1968 at the Fall Joint Computer Conference in San Francisco. Initially, the mouse wasn't widely embraced as GUIs weren't yet common, and many people still used command line interfaces. Today, however, the mouse is indispensable for most computer users, facilitating tasks like pointing, clicking, and scrolling. Engelbart's invention was the result of years of research and experimentation. The mouse design has evolved over time, incorporating more buttons and utilizing different materials. There are now various types of mouse, including mechanical, optical, trackballs, and wireless models. How much do you really know about the tech world? Put your knowledge to the test with these trivia questions. In 1992, NASA mission specialist Mae Jemison became the first African-American woman in space when she traveled aboard the space shuttle, whose name has a British spelling. Voyage, Astroverse, Endeavour, Space Ride. And the answer is Endeavour. What innovative radio company developed the Music Genome Project to classify music by mirroring mathematical techniques for gene sequencing within human DNA? The company is named after the first human woman created by the gods in Greek mythology. Pandora, Westergren, Hephaestus, Prometheus. And the answer is Pandora. What British woman is considered to have written the first ever piece of computer software developing an algorithm for Charles Baggage's theoretical analytical engine in the 1840s? She was the only child of George Gordon, Lord Byron. She is best known with an L last name. Augusta Lord, Ada Lovelace, Annalise Lovelace, Ada King Loretta. And the answer is Ada Lovelace. "Show me the photos from our anniversary" was a quote in the Love Story commercial about a woman named Loretta that provoked tears in viewers from what technology giant in 2020? Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Google. And the answer is Google.
Across the tech industry, there are women fighting to get their voices heard and listened to in order to get on a more equal pegging with their male counterparts. The month of March, which is Women's History Month, is a time to remember these formidable women for their efforts and to reflect on their achievements throughout history. A key fundamental part of celebrating these women in March is to ask important questions about how they overcome challenges, broke barriers, and how they think the landscape for females in tech has changed. Confidence Stavely, the founder of CyberSafe Foundation, is one of the most celebrated female cybersecurity leaders in Africa who has been recognized globally for her achievements. And she'll be talking about how the industry is embracing diversity. Enjoy the chat. Confidence, you are a woman who started your journey into tech decades ago, and based on how you speak about it, I dare say it's been an exciting one for you. How much do you think the industry has changed since you joined?
I would say a lot has happened, a lot has changed, and I've witnessed quite some significant changes, particularly in the advancement of technology. 5 years ago, 3 years ago, we're not talking about AI and and all of its effects in the technology space like we're currently speaking about it. It's literally knocking on every door, right? There's a lot more diversity initiatives that are looking to bring more women into the technology field. I have memories of going for interviews and being asked when I'm going to get married. And you know why I was asked those questions, right? They're literally trying to gauge when I would want to have children and how that's going to affect my dedication at work and my work output. So I'm no longer hearing those sort of questions. Of course, I'm going to speak about later on the kind of things that has morphed into. So there have been those changes. There are also emergence of new opportunities just across the whole tech landscape. There's also what I would call an evolution of tech tools and methodologies and a growth of women's presence in leadership roles.
Now, I know we keep asking this question every year, but achieving gender diversity in the workplace is something organizations are constantly working towards. But where do women stand in the tech world at this time?
The stats still show we are very much in the minority. In fact, some global statistics also show that while we've made some progress, we're making progress and progressing at the same time. And there are explicable reasons for this still, because there's still quite a lot of lip service. We have quite a lot of closet misogyny still happening. We have quite a lot of things that are happening that are driving women out of the space or discouraging women as much as we are pulling them in. So we've done very well at selling the campaign of women in tech. We've done very well at attracting women generally worldwide, and we're making huge strides with that. And albeit slowly, those changes are coming in. But I still want to throw a particular stat that the World Bank shared, which is that, and I'm going to interpret it in the context so people can imagine what we're talking about. 1 in every 10 cybersecurity professionals in Africa is a woman. 1. So while looking at how the space has evolved, I'm no longer an outlier per se, but then I'm still grossly in the majority. And the girls that I get to train on my program called the Cyber Girls Fellowship, which is really the biggest cybersecurity training and mentorship program for women on the continent, I still have women go into the workplace and tell me, in my team of 10, in my team of 5, I'm the only woman. So while this progress has been made, there are a lot of initiatives promoting gender diversity and inclusion, and all of these initiatives are gaining really incredible momentum. You would find that on Women's International Day, a lot of organizations are going to splash money recognizing women. Women are taking up various roles, contributing their unique perspectives and skills to the industry's growth. But then the stats I just shared with you still stands.
Confidence, going back to the stats and of course corroborating what you said, despite the increased representation, there's still a low percentage of jobs in the tech sector held by women. Well, according to Forbes, women currently hold only 26.7% of tech-related jobs, and large tech firms with more than 10,000 employees report women's representation at 26.2%. Now, there's no doubt we've made progress, but we're still far from where we want to be. And so, of course, there are clamors for change, for change to happen faster. How can we achieve this, pushing for more diversity?
I would say there is a combination of things, because it's the combination of things as well that's causing where we are currently. And I would share a bit of a story so people understand. I'll share 2 major stories. A few months ago, one of the girls I trained came back to me saying that she wasn't offered a role that she was qualified for because she was a married mom. And even during her interview, she got asked how she was going to be able to juggle that. And then she answered that question, giving the panel, a clear case of how she was going to go about managing, juggling her home and also juggling, the job and making sure that the job doesn't get to suffer. Even with that laid out, she was not offered that role. Now, if we look at that, and I'm saying what I'm sharing with you right now is not a case that is rare. We keep hearing those sort of cases. Last week, somebody was clearly told in an interview that they don't want to hire a woman because women can come with a lot of trouble. So, and you can guess what that trouble is. A lot of organizations and employers are not willing to create a welcoming environment that really just helps women thrive.
Well, we'll certainly, keep these conversations going so we can, until we see the change we hope to achieve. But as we know, we will be celebrating women all through this month, right? This year's IWD theme is, Inspire Inclusion, and the United Nations is working with the theme, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. Now, both themes highlight the importance of breaking barriers, promoting inclusivity, and investing in women's potential to drive positive change. Do you think, obviously, enough is not being done to help women get into the tech industry, but what more can we do?
Great. I really like that question you asked. What more can we do? I would say we need to double down on our investments in women. And I'm going to say this because a lot of times we feel like, okay, there's a lot going on for women and there's not enough going on for another gender. But I want to also share that women are unfairly hit by unemployment and underemployment in every single major economy, even in Africa that you can think about, even in Nigeria, right? So we need to double down on that investment, because an investment in a woman clearly benefits not just her, but our entire family and community in many cases. So there needs to be doubling down on that investment. Another key thing is we need to have unconscious bias training in all of our organizations. People need to know, and people need to be conscious around, whether or not they are biased. We need that training of so people know that whether or not they have unconscious bias. So that kind of training to create environments where women feel valued and empowered to advance is very important. I shared the case of someone who made that funny joke, and true to myself, for me, I won't laugh at that joke, but I won't stop at not laughing at that joke. I reached out to that person after the event, and he said, "Oh, it was just an innocent joke. Like he didn't see anything wrong with it." And the panelists, he led on that panelist to also double down on that joke, right? And if I was in that room, I would most likely have stood up and left. But the person, when I met him, said, "Oh, it wasn't a joke. It wasn't anything. It was just a joke." So he didn't see anything in it, and he did not realize his own unconscious bias. So we need that training to happen. We also need companies that need to implement policies such as flexible work arrangements to allow for women to be able to take on all of the important buckets of their life, because as a society, we actually advance on women being able to enjoy some flexibility in the workplace. We also need to address systemic barriers and biases.
Well, it's always great to talk to you, Confidence Stavely, founder of Cyber Safe Foundation. And of course, well done for all the work you've been doing to groom girls and women in tech.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, that's our show this week. Thank you for staying with us. Do not forget, Tech Trends is here to share insights, trends, and developments happening in the tech space. Also, all of our episodes are on the channel's TV YouTube account, and I encourage you to watch, share, and like your favorite editions. Until I come your way again next week, I'm Olayemi Otunuga. Bye for now.